Hey everyone, welcome back to another 31-minute podcast. I just thought I'd do a solo one today. Jackson, hello. Woo! I'm always like assessing life, especially as I get older, and I'm sort of like, what's it all about? Where are we headed? What do you got to do? And I tell you what I think I've not worked out, but I think I'm going to do from now on. And I'm just going to stay in optimum shape every day, forever. And I know that's might mean nothing to some people, but it's so hard working things off. It's almost like deflating, depressing. You get to a point and you're like, oh, gee, now I'm 10 kilos overweight. You got to work that off. And that's so hard because you've put it on slowly over time, and then you get there and you go, oh, I feel gross, or I feel not as good as I could. And then you got to work all the way back and change your habits, change your thoughts, change your behaviors, change, that discipline, get the discipline going in your mind, because that's the hardest part sometimes. You actually get to that stage because of the lack of discipline. A little bit every day, but the lack of discipline. And then you end up in this spot where you're really unhappy with yourself. So I'm like, I watched a few people like Mike Thurston, Mike O'Hearn. There's another guy who's 60. He's got a great body. He's a fitness, he's been a fitness model his whole life. I'm not sure what his name is. And they all talk about the same thing, staying in shape every day, forever. And I'm like, I want to do that. I think that's really hard. But what do you think, Jackson?
Yeah, I hate it. I literally just, for some reason, a month ago, it was like, oh, I'm going to bulk. And then I look in the mirror now, I'm like, you're fat. I just feel so gross. And then now I'm like, oh, I'm going to cut. So now I'm just trying to get lean again.
That's it. I think it's the seesaw of, because you feel really good when you have peace of mind. And peace of mind comes when you're steady. So you're vibrationally steady. Life's in a good place. You're with, you might be with no one, or you're with the right partner. I heard, I watched a video the other day, and they said there's no greater feeling than having peace at home. And I think that's true. I know what it's like to not have peace at home. And, when you're doing the right thing in life and you're just step by step, you don't have to be a huge success in 5 minutes. If anything, it's the best when you don't, because you're going to build it over time. But what about if you just stayed in shape? That's one area of your life, but just stayed in shape all the time. So you're going to have to say no to a lot of things. Not easy. Because if you're the opposite, so have you seen people my age, Jackson, and you look at a photo of them 20 years ago and you're like, can't even recognize them?
All the time.
Yeah. And that's just a slow progress towards something that's like they've aged, they're dehydrated, unfit. And I'm like, I heard there's a lady called Elizabeth April. She's an alien, and I watch her stuff, and I like it.
What do you mean
she's an alien? Well, she's an alien. And she says she doesn't celebrate birthdays because what that does is set your mind that you're 1 year older. She said there's no need to celebrate birthdays. I don't know whether that's true or not. We do, but I'm just saying it's true when you think about it. You go, oh, I'm 52 now. So am I supposed to be old, or am I? But if you look at it the other way, I want to get better. So I want to be better at 60. It can play with your mind a little bit. You can, 40. I remember when I was 40, I was like, 40, wow, that's like grandpa status.
What did 40-year-olds look like when you were a kid?
Well, like my dad. My dad looked like a worn out drunk. That's what he looked like. Well, that's what I saw it as anyway. He died at 47. So I'm thinking, what's possible in life, but what's possible is, that's down there somewhere. But what are you prepared to do about it today? What does today look like to create the next step for tomorrow? And if fitness is one of your things, or wealth is one of your things, or work, whatever's important to you. I'm just talking about staying in shape because it's really hard to do. It's really hard to do. And that bodybuilding thing of bulking, cutting, bulking, cutting. I was talking to Tommy the other day and we were talking about Micah Hearn. He said he's probably a little bit different because he stays in shape most of the time, but most bodybuilders, they eat so much. They put on 30 kilos and then they spend all this time cutting really just for like a week or two or a few weeks. And then they go back to how they were, like this big yo-yo thing. And I think the yo-yo effect is what you don't want. So I'm sort of going, all right, what's the optimum weight range where I want to be? So what workouts does that look like? What does the eating regime be? Because even eating a bit too much food, it's going to put on love handles. Like I'm prone to love handles. It's where it sits for me. So if I eat too much rubbish, you can see it in my love handles. If I go too thin, I lose too much in my face. So, and then I look like, a skeleton sort of face. Look at my old videos.
Yeah, you're gaunt.
Yeah, I look like a scarecrow. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, what is that? So you got to know what that is first and where you want to be. For a woman, it's not so much exactly the weight because your weight can vary from day to day with water, but it's more the discipline around creating that person every day. So the discipline would be, do you really want alcohol in your life? Do you really want that? Because inflammation is the number one cause of disease. What does what does alcohol do? It creates inflammation. So it makes you feel wobbly and it does nothing good for you, but it makes everything inflamed. So you do that enough times, you're going to have issues. So is it really worth the 3.5 minutes of that bit of first drink, second drink fun, and then it just is a downhill from there? I don't know. Tell me a drunken night where you've had amazing success and you might have had fun, but it's like.
Well, I was literally just about to say it's the only time I can ever remember having, like, when you wake up after a big night and you go, oh, like that was good, was when we were in Byron for your wedding. It was like the night before or something with Jordan dancing. But that's like.
That was an event.
Yeah, but that's like 0.1% of.
Yeah, and you took drugs.
No, not that night.
No, yes, you did.
This was at the beach.
Of course you did.
No, this was at the beachy.
Oh, the one before.
The night before,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just outing me on the podcast.
You did though.
Yeah.
Yeah, all you the kids did. Yeah, but like imagine you didn't have that in your life. So imagine, what does it do for you? Poisons you. So is it worth taking? You get a little bit of an effect, but the long term, if you're going to, not if you're going to do what I do, but I've decided that I'm going to stay in shape for the rest of my life. That's what I'm going to do every day. So that means things belong in and things belong out. That means being really consistent with working out, with the whole routine stuff, with sleep. I want to write, I'm like not even a quarter of the way through the book that I'm writing now. So I'm going to put that in there, but I'm going to spend time doing all good things. That's what I'm going to spend time doing. Anything that's outside of all good things for my body, for my mind, for my frequency, for the person that I'm going to meet down the track, I'm just going to say no to. That includes staying up late. Like I'm going to dial it in so hard that some people might say, oh, I don't want to live like that. That's boring. Maybe. But I also think that there's a cost down the track to not living at your best. And I think that's going to be, well, health is important. You want to operate the highest frequency. And I think that's what it's about. Like when you're operating at the highest frequency, you've got the ability to tap into the law of synchronicity. So that means things just come unexpectedly. So when when you're humming and you can control your frequency. And I think when you're feeling really good about yourself, you have a greater ability to control your frequency than if you're not enjoying who you are, not enjoying your behavior, not living with integrity, not doing the things that you know are right. I think that you have a much higher ability to grab the steering wheel of life and operate at a higher frequency constantly because you are humming at a different space. So when I have a sauna now, and even this is a little bit like, I used to watch TikTok in the sauna, but I listen to high vibrational music now. There's a soundtrack, I think I've shown it to you, and it's a high vibrational music. So I do 25 minutes of listening to high vibrational music. And I used to watch TikTok. TikTok used to pass the time, the high vibrational music changes my frequency. So what's the best thing to do? And it's like the payoff is later. It's not then. Sometimes I get in the sauna and all I want to do is watch TikTok because it's like, zoning out, bit mind numbing, scroll, passes the time quickly. Where if I put the high vibrational music on and think to myself, all right, well, what does that do? It affects it. It changes the electromagnetic field around me. You can feel it and see it because you feel different, and then it helps my sleep. So do I want to be revved up right before sleep, or do I want to be put into a higher frequency state to go to sleep? That's really how much you can start to look at your life and say, well, and it depends on what you want. Like I want to work out what this life is about. I want to see how we can go here. I want to be like sort of what's possible, but something magic happens when you operate at a frequency of excitement, love, just being pumped in general. Something magic happens. You can see it in your results. You can see it in the way you move through life, the timing of things, the people that come in your way, just your whole attitude, your whole energy towards everything. You're much more resilient. You sort of step through life just going, you're excited about what's coming. The opposite of that is if you're eating a really low nutritional diet and you're got thoughts of things that aren't that great and you're beating up on yourself a bit, or you're living a life that's like you just, say drinking at night, waking up with not even a hangover, just not feeling exactly locked in. You haven't had a great sleep. You're just limping through life a little bit. Your results are going to match that. And I want a phenomenal life. And I think that's what it's all about. It's taken me a long time to work this out, a lot of practice, a lot of listening to Esther Hicks and a lot of this sort of stuff. But I can see the work you put in today, the payoff will come down the track somewhere, but the payoffs are huge. Like you start to get this momentum about life where it picks up so much speed that you become a standout in how you look, who you are, how you feel, your results, things, money, work opportunities, people coming into your life. So if you can't find a partner and you're like, and I don't, dating sites might bring that sort of stuff, be the energy of the partner that you want to see. Almost forget about the partner. Work on your energy state every day until you get to this point where you're such a beaming light of good energy that you just become attractive. You just become the most magnetic, attractive energy person that you can. And things will just come. Everything you want must come that matches that. So frequency first, energy first, results second. So that's why I'm going to drill down really hard on, well, I don't mean to say like how you look. It's more like the fitness state that you have, I think, is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. And I know what it's like to live on both sides. And I like the fitness side of things because it's a daily commitment and a reflection to yourself. So it takes work. It takes a lot of work. Am I at optimum right now? Probably not. I can push harder, and I'm going to. But I want to see it like this way. Not that I'm a model of any sort, but I want to see it like if I had to take my shirt off tomorrow, my body's in great shape. If I had to take it off in 6 months' time, my body's in great shape. Not that I will. I don't go anywhere to do that. But inside of me, I know that I've put the work in. And when you've put the work in, it's almost like the universe rewards effort. So I want to live in this state of preparedness, ready, excitement. And when you feel great about yourself, you're just excited. It's like you're excited to see what's next, see what's coming, what's possible, all of that. But when you're flat and you're really not putting the work in and you don't really know what you want, life becomes real grey, I reckon. And you don't have that same turbocharge around what you can do, what's possible there. So this short solo podcast is maybe a challenge for some people. It's maybe to get your curiosity going if you're not doing that. What could you stop today that will propel your life further? And the way I live life at the moment is I look at things on pleasure or performance. And I'm really oriented towards the performance side of things. Today, pleasure for me would be I've got to take the kids out tonight for dinner. That's pleasure to me. Alcohol, drugs, laziness, things like that, time wasting, just I don't even know what else to say, but it's like those things that aren't going to propel me into a higher performance state, they're just not in my world anymore. Doesn't mean I'm rigid and like have to be like an army sergeant. It's more like I'm just careful about what I say yes to. I want my work and company to explode, and which it is. It's just getting better and better and better. But I can see it's because my vibrational state is getting better and better and better. It brings more things to you. That's the way that it works. So you're like this high performance machine, and whether you run at high performance or not, it's up to you. But you don't want to have this high performance machine that's just sitting in the garage idling, not really working, or just going around the block really slow. You are built for success. You're built to see what's possible. That's what you're here to do, whether it's singing, fitness, work, things, whatever. But if you've got this thing around, I know I can do more and I know I can become this, start on that. Like Jackson, before we got onto this podcast, he said, this topic, because I said, maybe I'll talk about it. He goes, this topic is great. I just spent all this time, and he goes, I just put on so much weight and now I've got to work it off, and it's this yo-yo thing. Get rid of the yo-yo. What does an optimum day look like for you? What does the boundaries of the day look like so you can run at peak performance all the time? What does your bedtime look like? What does your nutrition plan look like? What does time with your partner look like? What is the structure of your day? What's your morning routine? What's your work look like? Who are you going to become? If you just had that day, and that's my 10 out of 10 optimum day, whether it's today or in 3 years' time, and you're just slowly tweaking it as you go, you will succeed. You will find the best version of you. You are put on this earth to find greatness, but you'll only find greatness if you have the discipline around creating it. Think about it. Decide what that is, and then go after it with everything that you have.